Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to Everything Within podcast. I'm your host, Alina Krasnojon. This podcast is all about empowering you to build an extraordinary, fulfilling life and tap into the limitless potential that resides within you. Thank you for tuning in today. Welcome to episode 2. In this episode, we'll speak about creativity. I will give you pieces of advice on how to reconnect to your creativity if you had difficult times creating lately. And I will also share my experience with doing creative work. Let's get started. Creativity seems like such an abstract topic sometimes, yet a very important one, no matter what you do in life. I believe that creativity is a fundamental aspect of being a human. Creativity is about bringing something new and unique into existence that has never existed before. We all have a very specific lens through which we see and experience the world around us. And creating something and expressing yourself through the creative process allows us to share the way we see the world with others and find out who we truly are sometimes. This can be very powerful as it can inspire others to do the same. Creativity isn't about perfection, it's about sharing who we are in this very moment. When we see creativity this way, it allows us to have more freedom, to experiment more, try new things, and don't try to make every piece of creative work perfect. Creativity is a process of self-discovery and self-expression. You'll be surprised to see who you become through this creative process and where it might lead you if you decide to embark on this journey. I decided to speak about the topic of creativity as I had hard times being creative lately myself, which made me to dig deeper into this notion of creativity and learn more about it. I think that there were many reasons why I struggled with creating anything. I felt exhausted from work. I was trying to multitask and do 10 things at the same time. I was trying to do things perfectly and spend my free time distracting myself. I leaned into my fears too much, didn't allow myself to experiment more, try new things. I forced the creative process too much and put too much pressure on myself. I was trying to control an overall creative process with my analytical mind, imposing limitations of what is possible for me to create and what I supposed to be creating. I didn't ask myself what I wanted to create, what brought me joy and why, as it's you who should like what you create first of all, not somebody else. This work is for you, but not for somebody else to validate, to approve, and to like it. All this prevented me from enjoying the process of creating itself and didn't allow me to tap into my intuition and let the creative ideas to come through me. I didn't allow myself to be still and create silence in my life, which with time I understand is the source of all great ideas and the source from which I was ever able to create anything. My greatest ideas came to me when I was rested, when I was enjoying my life and not forcing anything. Have you ever noticed how all great ideas come to you when you least expect them? When you're relaxed, present, aware, when you pay attention. You don't need to search for more inspiration. You don't need more information or have extraordinary things happening constantly in your life to feel inspired and start creating. Sometimes it's the most mundane and simple thing that can trigger a thought, an emotion, a memory, that is so powerful that you can't help but need to express it through your creative work. But are you aware and present enough to notice it? Or do you distract yourself constantly, try to avoid the boredom and constantly watch over your shoulder what somebody else is doing instead of digging deeper into who you are and ask yourself what you really want to create? I have difficult times dealing with boredom myself. I search distractions often when it happens, but now I'm learning to sit with my boredom, to be aware when it happens. I believe that without boredom, there is no creativity. Allow yourself to be bored. Be present. Sit with it. Don't try to avoid it at any means possible and search for instant gratifications all the time. How often we just create something with hopes to get somewhere, to receive the praise, the money, the recognition, which makes the process of creating itself is so hard to enjoy. When you don't enjoy the process itself, when you're not vibing with yourself, it's usually reflected in your creative work and influences the end result of this work. This directly influences your energy when you're creating something, as your state, your energy usually shines through the things you create. And when I personally see a person who is devoured by the process itself, so present, so open, so vulnerable, I can help but be attracted and touched by things that she creates. What about you? What makes you to stop and enjoy somebody else's creative work? Have you ever thought about it? If not, probably now it will be a good time to do it. So nurture your inner self, your energy. Pay close attention to how you feel when you're creating, as it's exactly this energy that will allow you to create something great. Your high energy state makes art inevitable and touches people around, even if they cannot sometimes explain logically what attracted them to you or to your art in the first place. We would like to rationalize and analyze, explain everything logically, but many things in our lives happen unconsciously and cannot always be explained logically, which is okay, by the way. Too often we try to control creative process with our analytical mind, when in fact your analytical mind had nothing to do with creativity. It can though help you to bring something to life once you start and act on your idea. I really like this idea that I read for the first time in Elizabeth Gilbert's book called Big Magic. Beginning of the quote: all the ideas are already existing in the universe, and it's not you who are directly responsible to inventing them. They come to you when you're ready to receive them, very briefly, when you are aware, when you pay attention, when you're present. And if you have an idea but you don't act on it, it will find somebody else who is ready to take action on it and bring it into life. End of quote. I found that seeing all creative ideas this way allows to detach yourself from the outcome more. If your ideas work out, great, but if it don't, it's fine too, as it wasn't completely your fault and it wasn't 100% you who invented this idea. So if you're constantly searching for ideas and forcing creative process, it isn't the best strategy for creativity. What you should do instead, you might ask, well, probably the best way will be to create more space for yourself, a space which is free from fear and limitations from your own mind. Space when you perceive all the information with delight, curiosity, open-mindedness, in a childlike state, I would say, where you don't compare it to what you already know or believe, when you don't attach yourself to the story, but just stay open, curious, and constantly pay attention. The biggest obstacle, I believe, of any creative work is your own mind, your fears, limitations, and what you believe is possible for you to create. Being constantly aware of what is happening outside and inside of yourself allows you to expand your perception of the universe. Awareness allows you to see the moment unfolding exactly as it is, without attachment, without you trying to control it, forcing anything, but just be present and watch it. Being constantly aware can reveal so much more about the universe that you could ever imagine before. It's what can allow you to perceive and catch all the great ideas out there. Everything in your life can be an inspiration, A beautiful sky, a random conversation with a stranger, a memory, a weird shape of vegetables while you cook, an event that triggered some emotions in your body, a beautiful bird you notice randomly, your everyday routines. You just need to be present enough to notice all this. Another thing that helped me is to let myself to be bored. Be still. Don't try to search for distractions all the time and stimulate my mind constantly. When you create more stillness in your life, ideas start often to appear in your head spontaneously, without effort, without you having to force anything. Be curious, open to everything that is happening around you. Be open to new experiences, different perspectives, and unconventional ideas. Don't attach yourself to stories, but try to perceive everything like a child, with an open mind and curiosity. Play more. Discover who you are through the creative process. It can be an amazing path to self-growth and self-exploration. Sometimes without creating and expressing ourselves through our creative work, it's not possible to find out who we really are. Creativity is not about perfection, as I mentioned before. It's about experimenting and trying new things. There is no right or wrong way of creating something. There is just a way and your perspective. Allow yourself the freedom to take risks and embrace the possibility of failure. It is through these experiences that you grow and refine your creative voice. You need to take action to bring something to life. Thinking about something, analyzing it, rationalizing it will never help you to gain the real experience and become a master of your craft or bring something to life. Try new things and experiment to find what you really enjoy. What do you care about? What change do you seek to make in the world? What your values are? How would you like to impact the world in a positive way? Have you ever thought about this? As creative work is very personal, and even something you would like to create was already created or done by somebody else. It was never done by you. Don't limit yourself by thinking that everything was already created and that you had nothing to add to it. If you create something just for money or praise and you don't really care about it, if you just imitate what everybody else is doing, it won't be an authentic piece of creative work. I can guarantee you that. There are no rules, no exact blueprints for creative process. You create them. Be a leader. Lead yourself and lead others. It's a pretty hard thing to do because nobody really teaches us how to be a leader. But if you want to be a powerful creator, you need to be a leader. You need to trust yourself, your vision, believe in yourself, and that you're capable to bring your creative vision to life. It's your responsibility as a powerful creator. Don't ever forget about that. Express your ideas. Don't hide. Often we would like so desperately to hide and don't express what we really think about something. We would like to please everybody and be liked by everybody, which is just not possible. What it does, it creates a generic and faceless creative work that nobody will ever care about. Even you. If your creative work is for everybody, it's for nobody. Your creative work, in any case, will be the reflection of you in some way, your perception of the world and your life experience, which is unique to you. And as there was never somebody like you and never will be. So why not to learn to embrace all of yourself, your story, and express your vision and ideas boldly without thinking how somebody else might react to it. Make the creative process as easy as possible, as sometimes seeing any kinds of results might take you years. There will be hard times, times when you don't know what you are doing, times when you doubt yourself and everything you're doing, when you won't know how to do something, times when you feel lost, but often you need to step into the unknown to create more possibilities. Because if you keep doing what is familiar and know nothing new can ever come from this. Creativity is kind of forcing you to go into the unknown, because very often it's not possible to predict the end result of our creative work. That's why it creates a lot of fear, doubts, and we don't really want to leave the comfort zone and go into the unknown. But it's so essential to do it if you like to create something extraordinary. Accept the fact that leading into the unknown is a part of the creative process. Learn to be patient and sustain yourself on this journey. Don't cling if something you create isn't performing that well. Let go of it and pass to the next thing. Thank you for tuning in today and for listening to this episode. Feel free to share your creative process or any struggles you have while creating. What are the creative blocks you experienced recently? I would love to hear from you. Until the next time, bye!